This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
This is a realtor's dream scenario. These do not come around often, but when they do, oh my goodness, it's like a kid on Christmas. It is so thankful. And what happened? So some context here. I'm a big advocate with agents on our team. Always show up. Always show up, always take the listing, always be willing to work with somebody, because at the end of the day, we don't know what that home's really going to sell for. I don't care if you've been doing this 1 year, 1 decade, you really don't know what that home's value is, because it's really determined on what that buyer is willing to pay.
Right.
And so some people are like, well, you can get an appraisal, we can base it off comps. Great. What if they come in with cash? Then then you don't need an appraisal. And what if they don't care about the comps? Like, what if they just want to live in that home because it used to be their home as a like they grew up there?
Right.
Or what if they want to live there because grandma lives nearby? Or what if grandma wants to live in that home because her grandchildren live nearby?
Good point.
How do you put a price on that?
Yeah.
Right. And so
the value is in the hands of the holder. Or
the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The value's in the hands
somewhere.
of the person with money.
Yeah, with cash.
With that golden briefcase. So, anyways, what happened is this home seller reached out. He'd heard us on the radio and he'd heard great things, and so he called us and he's like, "Hey, I want to sell my home, and I'm pulling comps, and this house is worth like multiple millions of dollars. It's a beautiful house." And so Tom Daves and I show up and we meet with them, and he says, "Hey, we've met with multiple other people, but we feel that you're the best fit for us. You have the great marketing plan. You have the Bay Area buyers. You guys have a great reputation in the community. I'm going with you." So like, cool. And then the next, we got the photos, we got the 3D tour, we had all the marketing package put together for him. And before we went live, we said, "Hey, we just have to confirm this is the price that multiple appraisers have said."
So you had not discussed that initially of what the home was going to sell for.
We did. We
little bit.
We did. And we said, "Hey, you know what?" Because he had some things he was working on, so we weren't exactly sure when he was going to go on the market. Mm-hmm. So he said, "Hey, when we get closer, we'll pull some additional comps. We'll look at what's going on." There were some pending sales that might have in fact impacted the value of his home. Mm-hmm. And so we said, "Hey, once we get closer, we'll dial in that value." And we thought we were on the same page. Turns out we were not. I thought the home was worth, and what the appraisers were telling us is that the home would appraise for much less than what he wanted to go on market on.
Sure.
But we said, "Hey, you know what? It's your house, your rules. We'll try it out." Because this is like a one-of-a-kind property.
So how much more was he wanting to sell it than you thought it was
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Like a percentage-wise? Maybe 5%? Or less than that?
Oh, man, I'm not good with the percentages. Not at these numbers.
Okay, so let's just keep it that. Hundreds of thousands of dollars more he wanted for the home than you thought it was worth based on the comps and the appraisal.
9%.
He wanted to sell the home 9% more than you had it appraised for.
Yeah, multiple. It wasn't just me. And then so it sat on the market for a week, sat on the market for 2 weeks.
What did you say to him? You like, "Hey, we're going to give this a try at your home"?
So we're very honest. We're like, "Hey, here's what the comps are saying. Here's what the appraisers are saying. This is the data we have. This is our recommendation. And
right.
this is how we'd like to proceed." And he's like, "Yeah."
Did you see the swing in the backyard though?
Did you see the swing? Yeah.
That's been up for my kids and my grandkids.
Yep.
That right there is worth $100,000.
Yeah. The floor has it has heated floors, so it's worth at least X amount more.
There you go.
But no, there were a lot of intangibles. Like I'm not making fun of the home. It was a beautiful home. Like out of all the homes I've been in, this was probably one of two where I've been like, if this was in a different location, I would want to live here. Like I could see myself living here. Mm-hmm. And so it was a very, very special home. And so he's like, I'm gonna list it at this, and already I think that's too low. My neighbors are gonna hate me for listing it at that. And I'm like, What do you mean your neighbors are gonna hate you? This is gonna be the highest priced home that's sold in here, like in ever. Like, what do you mean they're gonna hate you? And so, anyways, long story short, we ended up getting an offer on the home. And
for the price he wanted?
For the price actually for a little bit more, because they wanted to throw in some other stuff.
Okay. So there weren't any competing offers, but they wanted some other add-ins like furniture and stuff like that?
Yeah, so a lot of the luxury homes, not a lot, but many of them, they'll buy the homes with everything included.
Oh,
and
wow.
so it's just like move-in ready. They like the way it looks. They don't want anything to change. They're buying it like that. And so we get in the escrow process, and turns out there's a lot of major things, things that are wrong and that could potentially be wrong with the property. And the agent on the other side was totally against her client even buying this home. She's like, he's overpaying for this house. He should not be doing this. But the buyer wanted it, and the buyer was paying cash. So appraisal wasn't an issue. There was no issue with the home. So the moral of the story was, if the buyer wants it and has the means, like, that deal is going through.
Yeah.
There's another deal we're working on, similar situation. The seller, and what's interesting about this situation is the seller didn't even want to sell. Life circumstances were forcing him to sell, but he didn't want to sell.
Oh, gotcha.
And so he was putting up all these roadblocks to how it felt like for us, the agents and the buyer, to prevent the sale. Similar situation, we opened contract on another home. The seller does not want to sell. He does not. But life is made, dealt him a hand, and he's playing the hand he's been dealt. But golly, that house is also, it's a luxury home, one of a kind, specific community, and that buyer came up almost $80,000 off of. And that house, there's going to set a record for a sales price in that community. So our marketing was working. We were getting in front of the right people, but they're coming in and they're basically paying cash for the home. There's not going to be appraisal. So if that buyer wants the home, they're gonna do whatever they have to make it happen.
It's true, because a home, a lot of times, especially if you're in the business, right, and you're dealing with numbers and cents on a regular basis, sometimes, and I'm not saying you do this, sometimes we forget that this is more than just wood and nails and a concrete slab.
Yeah.
This is somebody's home, and oftentimes you can't put a price on that.
Yep.
Obviously they're going to work within their means, but some things, like you say, are intangibles. Almost, you could just say the entire home is an intangible.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to live. This is where you're going to create memories.
And that's why we say always show up. Always list the home. Always swing the bat, because you really don't know with absolute 100% certainty what that home is going to sell for.
Right.
Now, do the homes, on average, if you averaged it out over all the houses we've sold, I'm about plus or minus 1%. Right, in terms of what the value I give the home. That's a pretty tight margin from what the person ends up paying for the home. So I'm very confident when I come to somebody and say, hey, this is what I think the home's going to sell for. But again, this is like a one-off. This is like 1 in 100 where somebody goes, screw that, I'm paying way more because of X, because of those intangibles. So, and
it's usually those homes that are the higher valued homes, right? Most often.
Yeah.
That are the outliers.
Yeah, the outlier, yeah. Because
it's those that have the cash, that have the money, and they're willing to pay whatever.
They have to have
they're
the
willing
resources.
to pay over because they want those intangibles, and they have a vision of what they want their home to be.
Exactly.
So what's the lesson out of all of that? It's show up. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying show up and listen to the market, right? So if the home had been on the market longer, we would have started doing price adjustments. Because you may have, if you're thinking about selling your house and you think it's worth X because of these intangibles, okay, great. We'll try that. But if you're 10, 15, 21 days into the market and the market's speaking to you and it's telling you, no, we've shown your house to thousands of people. We've called hundreds of people. People have had the opportunity. They've seen the home and they've said, no, I don't care about your intangibles. It's worth less.
I know, but coming it from the side of the seller, they have their fingers crossed that there's that one person out there, and I'm just gonna wait and wait and wait on that one person that I know is out there that's gonna see the value in the home that I do.
And if we wait long enough, eventually the market will appreciate to where you're correct.
Just hold on for 5 or 10 years, and yes, we'll get there.
Well, yeah. So actually, another thing that you can do, and we'll cover this when we come back, but how do you get homes to sell for over list price so that way it keeps you in the driver's seat? And we have a story about how we did that recently with some home sellers moving out of state.
Going to keep it short here because it should be pretty obvious. When it comes to selling your home, you expect more, right? Well, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty, brokered by EXP. They sell homes 27% faster, guys, than everyone else on the market, and for an average of 3% higher purchase price. So if you want more for your home, again, reach out to Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty, brokered by EXP. Just Google Made for More Realty today and get more for your home. License number 581837.